Hey, what's up everyone? Pags here at MEI Studio. Well, I'm actually in Midtown Manhattan, and we're gonna go check out the AES Show today. Let's have fun. The 2023 AES Show at the Javits Center in New York City. And we're gonna take a trip inside and look around. The noise in here was unbelievable, so I'm not even gonna bring the audio that I actually recorded into this, but we're gonna take a look around and I'll narrate some stuff over this. We stopped at the Shure booth first, check out what they've got. The only new thing that they really had up on the market right now is the SM7DB, which we've seen a bunch of different reviews for on different channels out there. And one of the reps there alluded to something new coming out towards the end of the year. Looking forward to that. And here is the Austrian audio booth, where they're very angry looking people. That's all I'm going to say. A number of manufacturers that had small booths for plugins and things like that. One thing that I'm a big advocate for is hearing protection, and this company is making in-ears that you scan your ear with your phone and they'll make custom inserts for your in-ear monitors. Pretty cool. And Blackmagic was there with Fairchild, which is the audio portion of DaVinci Resolve, which is what I use to edit my videos. They have a cool mini controller here. And somebody finally got the rights to Fairchild and is selling a pretty damn close replica of the original Fairchild for $35,000. It's all point-to-point, custom wound transformers. Unbelievable piece of machinery. I don't know about the price tag though. And here's a company that took a really good company's name and is putting it on questionable mics. Just saying. One thing of note here is that Telefunken decided that they were now going to put out a C12 because, you know, they couldn't get the rights to it back then, which is why the ELAM came out, and I guess they just took it and said, hey, screw it, we're going to put our name on it now. How nice. And here's that ELAM that they reissued. Hopefully they're not pulling any shenanigans like they have in the past. And they do have some original mics that they've put out. TF39 Copperhead. Pretty decent sounding mic. And next I floated over to the Shep's booth, and they had some of their finer small diaphragm condensers on display. The new blue microphones over there. Of course, the Colette series. Soyou's was a interesting booth to check out. Some really fun, nice people there, willing to show us the outside and insides of their microphones. Check us out. Big beefy transformer in that one. Some very cool boutique handmade products here. Excellent sounding. And here they are showing us another one of the insides of one of the mics. Very cool point-to-point setup on acrylic, the way some of the really older tube mics used to be done. And one thing I had no idea about, it's kind of cool, if you notice there's no switches on a Soyu's mic. So if you need a pad or anything like that, there's just nothing there. So what they decided to do was make these little adapters that go between the body and the capsule. So right now he's screwing on a pad, and that's how you add a pad to a Soyuz mic. Sound Toys had a booth that we couldn't get near. Then over to Wave Audio, who had a bunch of different manufacturers. And I got to connect with my friend Mike from Serpent Audio. He's got a whole bunch of cool stuff going on. And then there was the Whitestone Tube Amp Company, who is releasing a software-controlled mastering, saturation, and compressor unit. Over here we have Sontronics with some very interesting shaped microphones. And there's another Fairchild clone. Some other stuff. Check out the shapes of some of these mics. Pretty wild. They definitely went the retro look on some of these, including like an old crystal mic looking thing, amongst others. And they had stickers. I was going to grab a bunch of these for Bandrew, but yeah. Deitymik was there, and they had some pretty cool stuff for video sync and had some shotgun microphones on display. Really want that clapboard. Thing's cool. Cloud had a pretty extensive booth. They were doing interviews there and showing off all of their various lifter products as well as some of their microphones. And Triad Magnetics was there. They make a lot of the transformers that I use in the builds that I do for the studio and for clients. And Audio Technica as well, showing off their line of headphones, and they had this really cool, weird 3D microphone. And pretty much all of their mics were on display. And here's a company that's making relicked out rack gear. I mean, if my gear looked like that, I don't think I'd want people seeing it. But here we are. Eventide was there showing off some plugins and pedals that they had. We found out that they're going to be releasing a new, kind of a new version of the H90. It's going to be a polyphonic synth pedal. And over to the Manly Labs booth. And it was Manly, Chameleon Labs, and Dangerous. We're kind of sharing the booth all there together. Rack full of all this stupid expensive gear. Very cool things. Very interesting outfit from the guy giving demos. And this was an interesting booth. This is another reseller of Cole's microphones here in the States. And they also had the Phoenix and the Culture Vulture and Thermonic stuff. And these mics really caught my eye. And something I'd never really seen before. And they're from a company called Pearl, and they also had MyLab microphones there, which I had never heard of. They're very, very small. They're like a little bit bigger than my thumb, the little red one there. And one thing that stood out to me was the capsules in these. And at first I thought these were ribbon microphones, but they're not. Apparently what was described to us was these capsules were designed back in the 60s, and they're square condenser capsules or rectangular condenser capsules. And supposedly the directionality of the mic is handled completely different than you would on a circular capsule. After speaking with the guy for a little while, we worked out a deal where we're going to try and get some of these mics into the studio to test out and maybe do some reviews on a loan basis. And the prices actually weren't crazy. Let's just put it that way. very interesting and very unique. It's another company that I'd never seen before, CG Audio, and they have a multi-band sidechain compressor. So the sidechain for the compressor has a multi-band EQ on it. So you can target specific things to send to the sidechain of the compressor. Now, that in itself was cool. It does mid-side processing as well as left and right. There's a tube saturation section in here, as well as a really good sounding limiter. But what really stole the show for me and others was the purple knob section on there, which is kind of like a color section, I guess he called it. He said it was a proprietary circuit that he had designed, and it was almost like a real beefy clariphonic kind of thing. My buddy who is with here, Mikhail, he's also an audio engineer from Connecticut. He tried this thing out and kind of had the same thought that I did, and that section of this device by itself would be definitely worth the entrance fee. So we asked if he could make that section of this compressor by itself, and he said he'd think about it. Pretty cool device. He also has a preamp that you can see on the bottom there. There's like a big open box there, and you can plug in different modules to make it either a tube preamp or a solid state preamp with different coloration. Interesting design. It's been done before, but he kind of had a little bit of a different spin on it. It's nice to see people trying to do something different though. And the Bee's Knees booth kind of stole the show for me. I've been a customer of theirs for a really long time, like goes back a really long time. I was buying capsules from them for some of the clones that I was building. And the capsules that they make are really, really good. They're all made in Australia by hand. And their reproductions of classic mics are very fairly priced, especially considering that all of these mics are hand-built. They've modified some of the designs on some of it to get some of the noise down, so this is their FET47 style microphone, and this is probably the next mic that we're going to wind up getting here in the studio. So look out for a video for that, probably before the end of the year. They also did C12A clones, which kind of look like the C414. And here he is, the man himself, explaining to us the difference between the original mics that Bee's Knees is putting out. And these mics, the FET versions of them, I think are all under 500 USD. The tube version is around 600 or so, somewhere in that ballpark. And then he was speaking about his small diaphragm condenser as well, and that also has a tube version of it. Very, very cool looking mic. Amazing construction. The body construction and the mounting that they've done on these are just absolutely phenomenal. Then we stopped over at the Focusrite booth. So, you know, I was gonna see if maybe I could ask them, like, you know, why I can't get audio into my PC with 23-year-old drivers, because that seems to be all that anybody asks on any audio forum. And here's the man himself, Westdly. Still doing shows. Gotta give the man a lot of credit. Didn't have a lot of mics on display. I was kind of surprised. Usually they show a little bit more of the mics off from AEA, but he had a collection of all the preamps that they had, and they were pushing this BigRibbonStories.com site, and something that I'm gonna check out because I'm very interested in the history of the mics and where these things come from, who designed them, why they designed them the way they did. I think a lot of what he was trying to get across here was based around that kind of stuff. And they had more stickers over here, but yeah. And even more stickers. The temptation was really great for me to not take all of these and send them to Bandrew. But that was our AES trip. Thank you for watching, and please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Really help us out.